Hi and welcome to Dan's Vision. My name is Heather Smith and I'd like to welcome you to Volume 2, Flexibility Technique and Ideas to Improve the Body's Range of Motion. So if you're ready, let's get started. The first topic I'd like to discuss with you today is posture and basic body alignment. Quite often, in order to produce the most flexible techniques and things through our body, we need to have the perfect body alignment. So I want you to think of your head, shoulders, sides and hips as the 4 building blocks of weight. And make sure that you're not trying to project either one of them forward or backward in a tilted fashion. I want everything lined up evenly. Second thing I'd like you to do is think of the head stretching up to the ceiling and feeling that your shoulders are connecting down to your hips. This will separate everything through the spine. So blocks of weight, head nicely lined up, shoulders relaxed. The next thing I'd like you to do is take your center back. So make sure that your center is working back with your spine and your knees and ankles and everything are relaxed. And I try this with the arms down, right? If I'm not getting what I want through someone's center, I also take the arms up above the head, which gives me that really strong core stretch, taking the center back, and then I simply drop the arms down by the side, and it really gives me an awareness that I'm working my stomach muscles back to my own spine. Because sometimes when we walk in, we think we're nice and relaxed, and then we tend to arch and curve the body in the wrong way. So if you simply stretch your arms up above your head, feel that core stretch, feel the stomach muscles working back to the spine, and then simply drop the arms down by the side. Now then, whether you're dancing the man's part or the lady's part, if you simply bring your arms up in front of your body, never ever take your arms out to the side, it lifts the shoulders. So simply take the arms forward, whether you're taking the lady's dance position or the man's. I want you to feel your shoulders connecting to your hips. And now I'd like to invite my assistant, Darius, with one of my favorite props. Ladies, I know that you all have one of these, right? It's right there with you right now, probably. Okay, this is a very, very valuable tool, not to go and spend money, but to actually work on arm positioning. Quite often, I'll just put the bag down right now. Quite often when we come into dance position and think of our alignment, we simply take position and we come into position and we lock this right arm. This doesn't happen all the time, but I see this idea happen quite frequently. And that makes it, the body, the lady's body, have lots of tension in the right side. So simply what we do is we take a nice light handbag, pop it over the lady's elbow, take dance position, and you can see the weight now is in the elbow. It's not stressing out in the wrist. You can see this action here. Just simply relaxing the elbow down, feeling the shoulders connecting to the hips is a fabulous way to feel that natural curve and weight in the elbow. It works every time because when I share with people, your arm is too strong, you're really pushing with that right side, they can't relate until I actually put a weight into that right arm to show them that that should be the natural curvature and shape of the right arm. So I'll simply put the bag down right now, take position with Darius, nice and relaxed, 2 individual bodies and spines, working to connect right front to right front. The lady's head is left, the man's head is left, and we're simply connecting our weights nice and gently, just feeling a beautiful light touch in the body, taking care not to stick our ribs to one another. We've got Darius's window and my window, and we're not tilting our heads in any crazy shape here at all. And the other thing I'd like to share with you, ladies, is the left hand placed on the man's right arm should be placed just below this bicep here. the middle finger and the thumb should simply rest lightly on the man's arm, and we transfer weight and move from side to side. So our heads have our own individual window, bodies are relaxed, we've got even weight, light contact, shoulders connected to the hips, and the elbows nice and relaxed. Again, that is your basic line-up and posture. The second thing I'd like to discuss with you after we've got beautiful basic posture and relaxed bodies together is 3 simple things on every weight change or movement that we do. So even if we just take one step, I want 3 things to be thought of. Weight, releasing the joints, and directing the spine. So the very first thing that I'm going to discuss with you is weight. And what I mean by weight, because it confuses people, is just the natural gravity of the body weight connecting into the joints. What we must never do on any action at all is try and move our bodies without actually letting gravity take place first. So number 1 is gravity. The second principle of weight transfer is called releasing the joints. So we're going to relax the gravity, release the joints, and then I want to direct the spine. So watch again. We have weight, release, direct. What we would never do is just try and direct the spine or try and release a joint without actually having the basic principle of gravity, releasing a motion, and then directing it. So we can be anywhere in the room on any figure, and we'll always go weight, release, direct. Weight, release, direct. Weight, release, direct. So having that perfect lineup, okay, having that perfect lineup of posture, wherever we are, whether we've done an open position, whether we're in a closed position, we would always think of relaxation, connecting the shoulders into the hips, starting the action by releasing the standing hip joint, and then directing the spine to complete that motion. And Darius is going to now give me my little prop again, that famous handbag. So the handbag we talked about in actually being on the arm as far as producing the shape of the arm. And I also like to use it for this exercise as well. So if I think about a natural motion working through the legs, I'm going to let the weight come down. You can see that joint releasing. You can see that natural swing take place. You can see that I'm not doing this, look. I'm letting weight come down. You're seeing that natural release. You can see this natural motion. Weight, release the joints, direct the spine. I'll do it again on this side. Weight, release the joints, direct the spine. I'll do it again. Weight, release the joints, direct the spine. So this looks like a very, very, very simple exercise and almost silly to begin with. But I want you to feel the naturalness of basic movement and weight change. So this is called the basic principles of weight change. Okay, principles of weight change. So remember again, it's 1 is natural gravity. 2, release that natural gravity and hip motion. 3, direct it. Weight it, release it, direct it. Weight it, release it, direct it. And always do them in that order. Remember, you cannot move the moving leg unless there is weight in the standing leg. So whatever the figure, however difficult the choreography, if you have to lower to go somewhere, it has to be into the joint, release the joint, direct the body. weight into the joint, release the joint and direct the body. And then you know your principles of weight transfer are all in the right order. And now I'd like to talk about flexibility in the forward and backward walk. Now then, some figures will carry 2 forward actions with opposite side of the body, momentum change, and some will just carry 1 with then the same direction being maintained for 2 steps. But what I'd like to do is exercise the forward action first and then the backward action. Now, in figures in general, you may not have this continuous left and right, but I think it's very, very important to practice a basic forward walk and a basic backward walk to understand what is happening in the hip joints as far as flexibility. So we'll do the forward walk first. So remember, we have our basic posture. We have our basic principles of weight change where we allow gravity to come in, releasing of the joints, and the direction of the spine. 1. And now we're going to bring the right leg underneath the body, keep it flat on the floor as long as possible, and then move through, and move through, and move through. And that forward walk needs to be practiced every day when you're training, because quite often we think, oh, forward walk, that's easy. But a lot of people misunderstand the use of the foot and the use of the body through a basic action. So if you just watch this again for me, as my moving leg comes underneath the body, it's not like Latin, how the heel is up very, very high. The heel comes down underneath the body. It is flat to the floor. It is going to stay flat as long as possible while the standing knee is going to relax and move it forward. And then we have the simple weight change. Now, as I do the weight change, you can see that my weight is still present in the standing heel. I'll then repeat this process through the opposite side of the body. I'm going to let the weight connect down into the right standing leg. Allow the knee to keep moving, 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 moving. Then I'll do that principle change. And again, move and connect. And the best bit of advice I can give you when practicing the forward walk is to never think of the moving leg until it accepts weight. So the trick to having softer legs, having legs that don't have a break or momentum change, is to have the feeling stay with that leg as long as possible. So if I'm going to move my left leg, I'm going to think of my right leg as long as possible. If I want to use my right leg, I'm going to use my left knee and standing leg as long as possible to move the leg out. So you can see each weight transfer should be seamless and flawless. We should not see a jerking or a connection through the head this way. So when moving forward, you're feeling the weight staying back, you're feeling the continuation, opposite side of the body working with the moving leg. And like I said, you won't have a figure that has this many forward steps with an opposite weight change, but it has to be rehearsed and practiced to allow the hips and legs to feel what is happening on a regular basis. Now then, the backward walk. This is the most difficult step to exercise by yourself. And when you first are learning this, right, and you're moving backwards, right, we get to this point through the backward walk where the weight is felt between the heel of the front and the ball of the back. Now, from this position, we are going to lower the back heel as the moving leg comes underneath the body, and I will repeat this process over and over again, taking time not to allow the back heel to go down until the moving leg is underneath the body. So the exercise I'm going to do for the backward walk cannot be done if the heel is released down too early. So again, we're walking back, we're releasing the hip, I'm slowly lowering the heel as the moving leg comes underneath, and continuing to move on. Now, ladies, what I'd like to share with you here, or gentlemen, is when you're moving back, usually if we have, say, a preparation step where we have 2 steps in a row, whether it's a feather or a natural turn or a basic preparation step, we have 2 hips that are working simultaneously together. So we have our left hip working first, and then we have our right hip. Quite often what I come across is people start to prepare, do everything that they need to do on the first step, and then they go to sleep on the second step. So I've introduced a nice exercise for you where you can do continuous backward actions and know if your hips are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So at this time, I would like to invite my assistant Darius back with me again. And I'd like to show you my next little prop. I'm full of props today, so I'd like to show you my next thing. This is just a basic stretchy aerobic band, okay? And ladies, if you are having trouble, or gentlemen, thinking about what your hips are doing, or whether you know that you're doing them correctly, simply take the band, take it behind your bottom here, right? Have your partner hold it. I mean, you can actually hold it as well, but this will actually give you more confidence. Have your partner hold it and simply take the left hip back, feel that gravitational pull, and move the right leg and transfer weight. Now, I feel my right hip now pulling. I'm not sticking my bottom out to do this exercise. I'm thinking of the blocks of weight, and I'm pulling back. And I'm going to continue to move and not stop my hips from moving. So this band, what it does, right, I'll just do this and demonstrate this by myself. I'll demonstrate this one by myself, is that when you're pulling that hip, if you stop pulling, your body will actually feel like it's going to tip forward. So what I want you to do is to get a consistency of pulling the hip joints back with that resistance, so you're not taking the shoulders first. If you take the shoulders, the hips can't respond. So again, this band is a resistance band which will allow your hips to work into it to feel if you are doing this exercise correctly. And it gives you confidence because you know you can maybe do one and then you can feel, oh, I didn't work that one, and your head will immediately come forward. So it's an excellent way to see if the joints are working correctly and to train yourself with your partner to be the engine on all backward movements. Remember, ladies, if you're traveling backwards, you are that engine. You shouldn't be waiting to feel a pressure from the man's body. Your hips are like a vacuum. They should be drawing the man in. They should be working their own energy. And when Darius holds this band and I get that weight resistance going, I can be that vacuum for Darius as I'm moving backwards. So this is an excellent way to work the hip joints and feel if you're doing your backward walk correctly. And again, like I said earlier, you may just have 2 of these in a row to go into a natural turn or for a basic feather step, but there is no harm in doing 10 or 12 of them in a row just to feel your hips are getting that exercise, feeling that flexibility, feeling the range that they should be working with in order to get better movement and more distance. And now the next exercise I'd like to discuss with you is called separating the head from the shoulders. Remember, we have 4 building blocks: head, shoulders, sides, and hips. And quite often when we're in movement, we actually fix our head and our shoulders together. So I've come up with a nice, simple, basic exercise that will increase your flexibility. So we start off by simply starting off with our weight on our right foot. We step forward on the left foot and we have forward, tap, back, point. Forward, tap, back, point. I'm going to let Darius carry on and do this exercise. And if you notice, his head is still and he's separating the head from the shoulders, right? So everything is turning around the spine. All right, what we're not doing, okay, is through this motion is going and trying to keep our posture so still and stiff. So what I'm looking at is getting a separation, thinking of the ears, being as far away from the shoulders as possible, keeping the head still and feeling that flexibility of rotation around the spine. So again, whether it's a simple preparation step, when we start off, when we dance, we don't want to lock our head and our shoulders together. So again, we'll try this exercise for you. We start off simply with our weight on our right foot, allow the arms to swing freely, and we step forward, forward, tap, back, point. Forward, tap, back, point. Forward, and just let that exercise of our spines take place, separating our shoulders from our head. And this will help you to understand that we try not to lock our head and shoulders together. Another little exercise that I like to do is a simply sideways exercise, and Darius will demonstrate this for us. We start off and we dance shoulder, shoulder, tap, shoulder, shoulder, tap, shoulder, shoulder, tap, shoulder, shoulder, tap. So you can see his head is nice and still. He's transferring from side to side, just feeling that coordination of weight change. And then the tapping of the foot does a couple of things. It's taking us up. It's making us feel our internal balance. It makes us feel, you know, our posture. And then we're coming down to coordinate the opposite side of the body with our moving leg. Again, this is not a figure that is, is danced in a syllabus. This is an exercise to show you how to separate your head from your shoulders, keeping everything lined up, keeping the head nice and still, and feeling the separation take place. So we'll take the sidewards one again, and I'll just want you to watch Darius. 1, 2, tap, 1, 2, tap. He's feeling the center, he's feeling the spine, the head is staying nice and still, he's feeling the internal balance points, and then pause. And now we'll take the forward one again. Ready? And we have forward and tap, back, tap. You can see his head still, he's working his balance points, he's separating the shoulders from the head and feeling that flexibility take place. So by doing these exercises over and over again, you can feel the ears are separated from the shoulders are completely apart from the head, and the second block of weight is not timed together to make you feel stiffness and tension. So by practicing the forward and the sideward basic action will help you separate your head from your shoulders. And now I'd like to talk to you about rise and fall. One of the most basic things we learn when we first start to dance is how to go up onto our toes and how to lower down into our heels. So again, rise is the use of the ankles going up to the toes, and then fall is simply the connection of weight back to the floor. Now then, this, I feel, definitely is one of the most misunderstood ideas. It's a basic one, and so many different ways it's delivered with tension, with force. You simply need to feel that you've got hold of 2 big suitcases and they're pulling your shoulders down. And when you go up, the suitcases are getting even heavier. When you lower, they're getting lighter. So when you go up, they're getting heavier, and when you go down, they're getting lighter. Now the lightness, what I mean by that is that when you rise up onto your toes, you should actually feel